Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Bowmaster619 here. Excuse me, that came out of nowhere. It's currently 2:10 right now in Colorful, Colorado. I got a frog in my throat right as we started recording. That's fun. Anyway, for those of you that managed to see yesterday's live stream, thank you very much for tuning in. I'm sorry we didn't do any more than that. Hello, Aaron. Good to see you here. Dang, I don't know what the heck's wrong with my throat right now. But yes, yesterday was the Renaissance Festival. If you look behind me right there, you can see that's my new hat. You can see the little bit of blue under the red there. Those are my new pants. And my drinking horn, which I actually forgot to bring with me, unfortunately. But, thankfully, we had this bad boy to carry around. 64 ounces of water right here. That's 2 full quarts. So, we wound up killing that and refilling it once. Actually, we filled it twice, come to think of it. So, we were doing fairly good on hydration, so that's a good thing. But, again, thank you very much to Tessa and Zomblue. It was an absolute blast. It was amazing to get to meet you guys face-to-face in person. It was a very fun day. Yes, I definitely got some sun. And what stinks is the fact that I did purchase some Sunburn Bane, is what they called it. There was a shop up there that had essential oils and massage oils, lotions, things of that sort that you could get. My phone just went off. Anyway, and I did buy a bottle of it, but for whatever reason, it accidentally wound up getting left on one of the tables there at the festival, so unfortunately, I don't have any of that right now to use. I do have some Solar Cane sitting around here somewhere, which, bare minimum, I know it has a combination of, like, aloe vera and lidocaine in it, so that would help with the burn, but honestly, I'm actually not feeling that terrible about it. You can see it. You can see where my fingers leave the imprint and then it goes away, and it actually doesn't feel that bad unless I am touching or slapping it, so otherwise, not bad. It was a very fun day. My good friend Monkey as well as Lord Mechanicus joined us both yesterday. We unfortunately didn't get any video footage with Mechanicus in there. Briefly in the live stream you can see Monkey in the background. He got himself a really nice pair of leather gloves yesterday, which he already either kind of abused a little bit or they were partially abused when he got them. As you can see, this little strand of thread coming off of it, but these are actually really nice gloves. They're very soft. They're very supple is the proper word. So I might go ahead and borrow these. They're a little big for my hands, but I might go ahead and borrow these for this. Say hello to my new toy. My new toy that was not cheap. There is a little shop up at the Colorado Renaissance Festival, and I believe they do travel around as well, known as Badger Blades. And I purchased this beauty from them yesterday. So aside from... Give me one moment here. So aside from this malicious-looking beast that I have here, which I have shown a couple times on my channel, I now have this, which is actually interesting to compare them side by side. Give me a moment here. Now, my new saber is obviously a little bit longer than the Executioner. Those blades are sharp. Ooh. I need to dust off my Executioner here. It's actually kind of dirty. This definitely shows you I haven't used this thing in a while. But yes, you all are familiar with this bad boy. Got this from Zombie Go Boom. They did try to release something recently known as the Mini X, which I did do a pre-order of. But unfortunately, for whatever reason, that one seems like it's not going to go through, sadly. So, and it was basically a downsized version of this. It looks kind of like a mutated Bowie knife. Just giving my honest opinion there. But this, comparatively to this, is definitely a different ballgame. For one, this is much longer. Two, I think the Executioner is actually a little bit heavier than this one. Obviously, it is a much more narrow blade. It is longer than the Executioner, and it is good for both thrusting and slashing. And I already know you're going to do some kind of a dirty joke with it, Aaron, so go right ahead. This one is a two-handed. This one is technically a one-handed, but you can do two hands on it if need be because of the very nice pommel here, which is not removable, so technically you can't end them rightly. I wonder how many people will actually get that reference. Pooey, excuse me. So yes, this is what I got yesterday. This is a fudge. Give me one here. Accidentally spilled something, which is not good, but I had a feeling it was going to happen. Thankfully, I can get it cleaned up pretty quick, so no big deal. Just kind of a sad loss, sad waste. To quote Sean Connery from League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, wicked waste, because I accidentally knocked this over, which is Ace's High Whiskey from Mystic Mountain Distilleries. Hello, Daddy Daughter Broadcasting. Nice to see you here. I know it's been a while since I've really been on YouTube for any length of time, so it's very good to see you guys here. You came in at just the right time there, Philip. We are going to do a brief taste test of Ace's High Whiskey. Premium American Bourbon Whiskey. It is from Mystic Mountain Distillers. I know I already said that, but just in case you didn't hear me the first time. So I've got my tin cup shot glass here. I mean, as you can tell from the bottle, I've had this for about 4 days. And I've been enjoying it a little bit on and off. And this is by far one of the smoothest bourbons I have ever had. And one of the most interesting things about it is, look at the coloration here. That is such a light amber color compared to the normally darker colors that you see. No way, I'm not that crazy. I may enjoy a good bourbon every now and then, but there's no way I'm going to be able to chug that entire thing in one hit. That's alcohol poisoning waiting to happen, basically. But man, is it smooth. I mean, literally, I can take a full-on shot of this. It's empty now, but I can take a full shot of this, and it doesn't burn. What does burn is the other special bottle I got waiting right over here. And for those of you that missed it, I did go to Spirit Hound Distillers a few days ago and did a live stream there. They are located in Loveland, Colorado. If you ever manage to come down to Colorado, definitely give them a look up. Aaron was burning last night, but for other reasons. Yes, I did see the post for the Death Nut Challenge. I just have not had a chance to watch it yet. As soon as I do get a chance, I will watch it. I will, of course, thumbs up, and I will put you some kind of a goofy comment on there, Aaron. But this is actually a very special batch. This was one of 3 bottles only that were left from barrel number 15. Which, obviously, that's pretty cool considering that there weren't very many less. If I make my way to Colorado, I'm looking up. Please do! Heck, maybe we can all do a massive collaboration with you, me, and Tessa and Zomblu. That'd be pretty fun. But this one is what is called cask strength whiskey, and it is ranked at 62. Are we back? That's cool. Wi-Fi is not very good. This might get cut off shortly, sadly. Yes, this was only one of 3 that were left of their entire inventory of Barrel 15, and the bartender that was dealing with me, so to speak, when I was up there, told me that about 1 through 20 were the very early barrels that they had, where they didn't quite get how to mash properly for the whiskeys they were making, but the flavors were so much more unique each individual barrel they made. So, as you can tell, I have had a little bit of this, but this little bottle cost me $40, which I know isn't terribly much for some people, but that was a bit of a spend for me. And because of the fact that this is such a rare bottle number, because there was so little left of it, I'm going to be savoring this very slowly. What's funny, though, is the fact that they did have some of the cask strength left up there, and I went ahead and asked for a sample of it, and the new bartender, they actually swapped shifts while I was there. She went ahead and gave me a little taster of this. So, I sniffed it. I did what I usually do on a tasting video, and then threw it back, and right as I threw it back, she's like, wait, oh, too late. I'm just like, It's like, that's really strong. That's almost, that's way stronger than normal whiskey. And I did definitely feel a little bit of burning in the back of my throat, but actually it wasn't that bad. My favorite Maker's Mark is about 50, but I'm no connoisseur. I'm sure there are better tasting and more expensive. Fair enough, but expensive doesn't necessarily make a good whiskey. I've actually had some fairly cheap whiskeys out there that actually are not bad flavor-wise. A good example of that is Kessler whiskey. I don't know if they sell that up in Canada or not, but Kessler isn't bad for being a super cheap whiskey. It's actually better, though, if you drink it either out of a tin shot glass like this or out of a metal flask instead of a glass one. The metal allows oxidization of the alcohols and some of the other ingredients in the whiskey as well, and changes the flavor just a little bit. Very true. Cost is not always indicative of quality. Exactly. I mean, yes, sometimes the more expensive ones can definitely spell better quality for sure, but it's not a blatant given that just because it's expensive, it's going to be better. I mean, that goes for pretty much anything. Because I have, most of my bows are honestly kind of cheap, just saying price-wise they were cheap, and they're also not of the absolute best quality out there. I've seen bows that can cost easily anywhere from $800 up to $3,000 for one single bow. And I have considered, I'm not lying, I have considered purchasing myself a $900 bow. It is a Tomahawk longbow. That is the company that's made, and the name of it is the Thunderstorm 2, if I remember correctly. If you have the chance, go on to threeriversarchery.com and look it up, because I don't have any of their catalogs on me right now. But it is a black with a little hint of green, if I remember correctly, and it is simply a gorgeous bow. But again, that one's going to cost me, with tax and everything, easily $1,000 or more if I do get it. Now, I'm not guaranteeing I'm going to get it anytime soon, for sure, especially since I blew a fair amount of money on this thing. I know you just got here, but point being, in regards to price, I have some fairly cheap bows up here, price-wise, some fairly inexpensive, I should start saying instead of cheap, that shoot beautifully and perform well. I have not actually shot any kind of $1,000 bow, but I can assume that, in all honesty, the performance probably isn't much different. But that's neither here nor there since I actually haven't gotten to try it yet. If I had the opportunity, I would gladly do it. When we go to Colorado with Aaron, we'll do daddy-daughter A&A. Sounds like a plan. I look forward to it. And hey, if at all possible, maybe we could even do a collaboration with Tessa and Zomblu as well. Have a big old 5-channel collaboration together. Whew, excuse me. But yes, if you missed it, this was what my major purchase was at the Renaissance Festival yesterday. Now, behind me there, that hat and the blue pants that you can partially see right there are the other purchases I made, along with this, which is obviously the scabbard that matches up with my new saber. This was not cheap by any means. It was one of the more inexpensive items that they had at Badger Blades, but it was not by any means cheap. They did have another one that was a typical two-handed European longsword that honestly was a little bit on the shorter side. That was only $350. This one, before tax and everything, was $375. And honestly, I actually went back behind the booth to test out 3 of these. Estenon prefers bourbon. I certainly hope she doesn't know the difference between them yet. I mean, I've heard plenty of tales of parents giving their child just a small amount of some kind of hard alcohol in their baby bottle to help, put them to sleep. But as far as just giving a kid a shot glass and saying, "Here you go, kid, go nuts," I certainly hope not. But I know full well that you are just kidding, Philip. I know you would never do that with Estenon until she was, of course, of legal drinking age. Though, honestly, I am curious to see what her choice will be when she does get to age. Will she be a bourbon girl? Will she be scotch? Will she be rum? I am honestly curious to see which way she's going to go for it. She's an absolute boss, but not until 21 or 35 if I can handle that. What is the drinking age in Canada? I think I've asked you this before, but I honestly can't quite remember. Hard to tell. Yes, when they're this young, it is very hard to tell. It just... Some of it does kind of depend on their parents, honestly. Oh, it's only 19... Oh. It's only 18 in Canada? Huh. Very cool. Well, maybe not cool, but interesting. I mean, I have some family friends that their personal philosophy is... My hair is not cooperating. Their personal philosophy, if that made any sense, is if they're old enough to protect our country, they're old enough to drink. That's just what they personally believe. And honestly, to a point, I can kind of agree with that. But, the drinking age is there for a reason. Whatever the particular reasons are, I don't necessarily know myself. I can say that it's not necessarily a bad thing, hypothetically speaking. It's not necessarily a bad thing to let your children at least try some alcoholic beverages when they get a little bit older. 16 wouldn't necessarily be a bad age if they're going, "Hey, can I try some of that?" Like if you're having a beer or wine or a cocktail or something. I'm not opposed to letting them try a taste of it so that they're in a very controlled environment, rather than doing what a lot of teenagers do in America nowadays and just have some cool person who is 21 buy them a bunch of cheapo booze and then they run off to some abandoned warehouse somewhere and just get completely 3 sheets to the wind gone. I would much prefer that if my child does want to try and drink before they are of legal age, of course, that it is in a controlled environment where I can keep an eye on what's happening. That's what they do in Europe. At dinner, a standard glass of wine. Yes, that is very true. I think Italy is very well known for having wine with almost every having a glass of wine with almost every dinner. And I do believe also that in Russia, it is customary to have a shot of vodka before every meal. And again, what I'm saying is purely hypothetical. I don't want anyone out there to go and try and call the cops on me or anything like that, saying that I'm a terrible parent and letting my kids drink. No, I'm just simply saying that hypothetically speaking, I would prefer to have my kids in a very safe and controlled environment that I am able to monitor, so they get the idea of what alcohol kind of feels like and or tastes like, rather than having them run off with a bunch of friends and get, 3 sheets to the wind plastered and get in trouble with, law enforcement. That I do not want to have. No, we get it. That's what my parents did. Yeah. My parents never did that with me. Honestly, I did have to legally wait until 21 before I actually got to get my own alcohol. I mean, personally, I did find a few other ways, but that's just me personally. But, that's just my opinion. I'd rather have a controlled environment than them going off randomly to do it. And I apologize for this shirt. As you can tell, this shirt has been through a lot. And I'm honestly thinking of just setting this into the rag pile to help with polishing bows or cleaning cars or blades or things of that sort. But I just put this on because it was a shirt that I had available, and I was getting some stuff done outside. But yes, so that's just kind of a recap for what happened. Not even necessarily recap, just kind of some random babblings, pretty much. Went to the Renfest yesterday with Tessa and Zomblue. It was an absolute blast. They got to meet me, Leslie, Monkey, Lord Mechanicus, and his lady. And I wish I would have gotten some video footage, or a picture at least, of Lord Mechanicus in his garb at the Renfest. I mean, you can see me in my garb if you check out my live stream, at least part of my garb. But his garb, oh man, he has developed it over several years, and it is amazing. This year he went as the steampunk mechanic. Now, he has a good old-fashioned top hat with steampunk goggles on the top of it. He has wrenches on each arm, as well as measuring devices along his belt, as well as pouches and a wooden mug. And specifically for the event, he had a gigantic monkey wrench strapped to his back while he was walking around. My parents never did that. My aunt gave me a small glass of white Zinfandel when I was 13 or 14, and that was it. I was so scared to drink because of my parents' issues with that substance. I'm pretty sure it will be on the Colorado Renfest site. Quite possibly. Everyone out there, Alex has just joined the party. She was there at the Renfest yesterday with us, of course. Mechanicus is her man. And quite possibly it will be on the Renfest website, because there were numerous people talking to him about his getup. Yeah, so that is pretty much what happened there. Bought quite a bit of stuff. It was a heck of a lot of fun. Got to try a new one I haven't tried before, which was Stella Rosa. Stella Rosa, what is wrong with me? Angry Orchard Hard Cider Rosé is what I meant to say, which is typical Angry Orchard hard cider, but it is made with hibiscus and rose, and it was absolutely delicious. Yes, if you get the chance, come down to Colorado. Anyone who is watching. They took his picture right at the entrance. I'll take some when we go again on Sunday. Please do, and send them to me. I will gladly post this on my Facebook, and I will, if possible, post some of those on my YouTube channel so people can see just what this crazy SOB you're with looks like. in his garb, I should say. People have already seen him, of course. If you haven't seen Bunny's Revenge on my channel, please check it out. He is the other main character in that skit with me. And as soon as we can get some more time to film, we're going to film the second part of that. And I'm honestly thinking a little bit about turning this into more of a series rather than just a two-parter. We've got a lot of really crazy ideas. Maybe this will make an appearance. But we got a lot of crazy ideas for that series now, as opposed to simply, me and him summoning the bunny and that whole confrontation. We're actually thinking of adding in a lot more, making it kind of a journey series to where we finally get to summon him and then go from there. I don't want to give out too much information about it, but that's kind of the path that we're thinking of going now, rather than just having it as a static two-parter like I originally wanted it to be. So glad you and the Callaways got to collab. I completely agree. It was an absolute blast, and assuming I can get 5 more subscribers to finally get me to that 100 subscriber milestone, I will be making another trip up to Colorado Springs when that happens, so we can do another collab and possibly even get to do some archery together. We did shoot a little bit of archery up there at the Renfest, but the bows they have are, not gonna lie, they're crap. So there was no such thing as accuracy, really, but it was still fun to shoot. Allergies have my ears popping like crazy, but no, it is what it is. That's what happened. Got myself a hat, pants, a sword, and a scabbard. Monkey got himself some new gloves. Leslie got herself a really nice hat and some gypsy bells to wear, so she can go as either a pirate or a gypsy for Halloween or to the Renfest if she wants. She bought some really tasty nuts that I have been devouring sitting here, so she might not get these back by the time she gets off of work. Just saying, but it is what it is. So I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this live stream here. I've actually got some stuff I need to get done, but until next time, thank you everybody so much for joining me on this live stream. Thank you for recapping a little bit with me about the Renfest and some of the new toys that I have. Until next time, this is Bowmaster619 out. As always, drive safe, stay safe, especially drive safe. We saw some nasty accidents on the way home yesterday. I'll have Mitch send some pics of his stuff. Thank you, Aaron, Alex, and Daddy Daughter Broadcasting, Philip, for joining me here tonight. Never stop learning, everybody, and I will see all of you in the next episode. I actually need to move this thing out of the way. Take care.